Previously on Knox, we put the Suzuki GSXR 1000 versus the Yamaha R1 in a clash of Titan's Superbike Shootout road test in the beautiful English Lake District, carving up mountain passes, testing out launch control systems and putting the bikes against the tape measure. In this episode, creature comforts go out the window and we head to one of the UK's most gnarly tracks, Oulton Park. Armoured to the teeth with the best protection from the Knox collection, we put our big girl pants on and dial it up to 10. Let's have it. With its woodland sections and gorgeous landscaping, Oulton Park is not only one of the most beautiful tracks in the UK, it's one of the most challenging. Take Cascades, a gutsy 130 miles an hour plus blind crest of a corner entry, where you try and peel in and hold the throttle as open to the crest as you dare. Get it right and you're a riding god. Get it wrong and, well, we won't go there. Similarly, flat out over Clay Hill at 140 miles an hour in fourth gear, front wheel lifting over the crest as you turn left and line up your entry to Druids. Then immediately afterwards, the exit to Druids, itself a 90 miles an hour double apexer, features one of the most awkward bumps on the exit, lofting your front wheel while you are on the side of the tyre. In short, it's a battering track to ride a fire-breathing 1000cc superbike. You need to be accurate, and more than anything, to have a safe and stable bike to get you round it safely. And that is exactly why we chose Oulton Park as our location. Okay, so welcome to part 2 of our Superbike Shootout GSXR 1000 versus the Yamaha R1. Today this is the track feature and we're at the beautiful Oulton Park in the lovely county of Cheshire. Sun is cracking the flags, I can't believe how lucky we've been. Format of the day is basically we spent the first couple of sessions just getting our head back in. I've been on my 750 just to get my head back into the feeling of going fast again. It's so different riding on track to what it is on the road. Even though I was here last month, you just have to get your head back into going quick again. All the stars are aligning for a really, really good test. And now I'm just about to swing a leg over the Gixxer 1000. Cannot wait. So just done my first couple of sessions on the Gixxer 1000. Oh my God. Yeah, jumping off my 750, this thing feels like it's got 15 million horsepower. It is ballistic, you know. It's not had a tune, it's not got an exhaust, but oh my God, is it quick. And you know, just the straights are just like over like that. It's unbelievable. New problems are starting to come in, like the front wheel like coming up, and how do we manage that? It's a new problem I've never had before. But yeah, unbelievable. Handling's fantastic. Yeah, it's feeling very, very good.
I've been on my R1 all morning, so I just thought I'd give you some initial impressions. Obviously it's my bike, but it just never ceases to amaze me. It's such an animal. I'm really, really impressed with you know, the handling, the speed, you know, how refined it is. You know, you can lean on the electronics. The electronics just work there in the background. The slide control, you can properly punch out of corners and it will just sort of control really nicely. The wheelie control over the hilltop is absolutely incredible. You can hold it pinned and it will just hover all the way over, which is awesome. You know, you don't have to think about that. It was filled to the brim at the beginning of the day, and by about lap 3 of the 3rd session, it started to like jolt and basically it's running out of fuel. So yeah, she's thirsty. So we had to fill her up. It's been an awesome day so far, and after lunch I'll be on the GSXR. I'm really looking forward to how it's going to compare. And you know, we've ridden it last few days on the road, so it'd be really interesting to see how the electronics and the handling and the engine characteristics compare. But been awesome day so far. You know, no red or black flags for the team and stuff. So yeah, really impressed, and bring on the next few sessions.
As previously mentioned in part 1, following last year's crash repair on Jeff's Gixxer, a new Star Lane race dash was installed, giving the Suzuki a less Tamagotchi style interface. Incorporated automatically into said dash is a GPS data recording, which makes for very interesting evaluation. With a max GPS recorded speed of 142 miles an hour on the Lakeside Straight, showed us the way that we felt about the Suzuki's rampant power wasn't a figment of our imagination, and the 62-degree max lean angle recorded was a credit to the GSXR's chassis, Nitron suspension and the Dunlop tyres we were sporting. As track days are a non-competitive environment, obviously we weren't chasing lap times, instead focusing on being safe, having a lot of fun and waving at Pete the cameraman whenever the opportunity arose. That being said, the data showed a 1 minute 51 on my second session on the bike. As this test was on our own bikes, each worth in excess of £10,000, and having already painstakingly rebuilt a smashed up road bike the previous year, the concept of you bend it, you mend it wasn't the most attractive approach to this production. That's where BeMoto Track Insurance comes in. For a fee, they'll insure your pride and joy not only on the road but also on the track. Full details of how you get this insurance are in the description below. Honestly, this was the enabling foundation of this test, allowing both riders to properly have a go, safe in the knowledge that we were covered should we crash or get knocked off.
So how good has today been, Ollie?
It's been absolutely epic. The bikes have been epic, the kit's been epic, the weather's been epic, the track conditions have been awesome. You know, everything's sort of come together, and it's just been a really, really good day.
For me, I have to like pinch myself every time I come here because, you know,
It's so good.
This is so good, and we are so lucky as riders to be able to, like, you know, realistically come onto a racetrack, you know, that you see like your heroes have ridden on and all that kind of stuff. And No Limits put a fantastic day on, organised really well. There's been there hasn't been any red flags today. It's been absolutely unbelievable. Like, if you've never done a track day before, you will learn more about motorcycle riding than pretty much any other activity that you can do. You know, that's one of the reasons why we wanted to do this two-part thing, because, you know, you can come up with an experience from the road, but these bikes, you know, they're super bikes, they're 200 horsepower, you know, supercar speed motorcycles, aren't they? And you can't fully experience them. That's why I wanted to come on the track. Before we actually get into it, obviously we've been running the Dunlop Sport Smart TT tyres. Flipping heck, how good have they been?
Absolutely amazing.
I don't think people believe me when I've like said like that. Seriously, this tyre is like awesome, right?
It's so good. It's just been right there, both on, you know, on road and on track. You know, we've used warmers, we've used the recommended cold pressures, and there's just been nothing. It's just there straight away. It's so confidence inspiring.
I mean, look, you know, we weren't hanging about. You know, to be able to run that sort of speed consistently throughout the day and not have your tyre just fall to pieces or get slimy or squirmy or whatever is impressive anyway. But then you consider it's a road tyre that you can use through the winter and stuff. It's absolutely unbelievable. Top-notch tyre, super recommend it. So we've both spent time on both bikes, haven't we? And I think we've got quite a good understanding of what they are. I think we should start with the R1. But this is your bike. You know, you've done a lot on track with it already, and you obviously know, therefore, a lot about it.
Yeah, I think one thing I've noticed today, more so than sort of other track days that I've done, I've played with the electronics a little bit more. So each sort of setting within the electronics, it can be sort of moved within a sort of a 10-point range, as it were. And I've hit a bit of a sweet spot, basically, so you can rely on it and it will work in the background and lean on the electronics, and just it gives you loads of confidence. Around here it's sort of very undulating and there's some really quick corners as well, so I think the electronics has been a big standout for me today.
It's been fantastic. The
Nice.
The R1 has really, really impressed me. Well, you have to consider both of these bikes, you know, they're not my own bikes. This one's Jeff's. I don't want to crash it. This one's your pride and joy, and I definitely don't want to crash that either. So, you know, actually my first session on it, I was a little bit like tentative about, you know, it and so on and so forth. The rear sets are quite high and it's really hot today. We've been sweating buckets. I ended up getting cramp in my leg, and that really put me off like riding it for the rest of that session. But I did, and I carried on, and we did another one obviously, and really got into it then, started to understand it. I think it is a phenomenal motorcycle. The electronics, we'll come on to the Gixxer ones, but that is a very big distinctive of this R1.
Yeah.
You know, you come over hilltop, you got so much power, but you know, and you can absolutely gun it. You can hold it to the throttle stop, and the thing will sort the wheelie out for you.
Just sort of hover over,
yeah, basically, and it takes a bit of trust to do that. But I think you can trust the R1 electronics as opposed to the GSXRs that I don't trust
more
at
abrupt.
all.
Yeah.
And the way the engine makes that power is significantly more aggressive, I would say, on the Gixxer 1000. I was really comfortable giving that like everything that it got. It didn't scare me, the power delivery. I know we say like, oh, it's grunty, it's torquey and all that kind of stuff, but the way that it delivers it, even on track, I'm not scared of it at all. It's like, I think the R1 is more at home if you were coming from like a 600 and you were looking for like a superbike to go on. I think most people are going to be more comfortable on the R1 because it feels handling wise more like a 600.
Sure. It's a smaller bike.
It's a smaller bike. The power is less intimidating in my opinion in comparison to the Gixxer 1000. You know, a distinctive for it is the handling. You have to remember as well, this is stock suspension. Yeah, it's had a setup. Yeah, I might come across as snob here, but you know, I haven't ridden for a while on a bike without proper aftermarket race suspension. So I was thinking jumping on this and thinking it was not going to be very good. Stock steering damper as well. I have to say, bloody hell, it was awesome. You know, right. I wouldn't like, if you're just a regular track day rider, I wouldn't be rushing out to put a new set of suspension on the R1. Yes, what I might do is put an aftermarket steering damper because, you know, I just don't like that lightness feeling that you do get. But it's not unstable. There's no tank slapper moments. There's nothing like that. It's really, really solid. I was very impressed with it.
Obviously, I've owned the bike for 2.5 years, done quite a few track days. I do obviously road riding as well. And I mean, one, I guess, downside or a thing that caught me out in the third session, I said between the second and third, I should probably fill up, but I didn't put any fuel in. And I think we're into like the second lap or something in the third session, and it just started sort of jolting and stuff, and I was like, oh God, here we go, the fuel's running out.
It's thirsty. It's thirsty.
Definitely thirsty under throttle.
It's a thirstier bike than the Gixxer.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You were also saying about the ABS you had in...
Yeah, a little bit of the master cylinder and the lever coming back, a little bit, but you know, I adjusted it and we didn't have any issues further on.
I think the only other downside for me is that I thought that, you know, the gearing, like we were running like ridiculous gears. So there was like 3 or 4 corners that we were both in first gear. And you have to run first gear because otherwise you haven't got enough engine braking. Yeah. It's not for the power because you've got loads of power and you've got loads of grunt, so it's not a power problem, it's an engine braking issue really. Definitely. And I think that this stock setup would benefit quite a bit from a gearing change. Yeah, definitely. And I think it would make it, I know it would make it faster. Definitely. As well, because you're not driving such a long gearing. Yeah, you know. Sure. But then maybe that would make it a bit more intimidating as well. I don't know.
Yeah, jumping from the R1 to the Gixxer, you are literally a gear higher, you know, in the GSXR, which you probably should be. You know, I'm barely using a little bit of 4th gear, but it's mostly, you know, the lower stuff. So, yeah, I'd agree with that.
So we better start talking about the Gixxer then, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's what a bike. Let me hear your thoughts.
Well, I did some warm-up sessions on my 750 this morning. I think massive, monster power. The drive on it is so hard. And if the R1 is like confidence inspiring, like to go full gas, holy shit, that thing is like, it's
rapid.
It is bonkers, and the way it delivers it is so much more aggressive, in my opinion. It also wheelies a lot, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah, no, the power delivery is awesome. You know, you properly feel the power. That might be a weird thing to say, but when you're accelerating, it screams up to 13, 14, 15, whatever K it is, revs. You are properly motoring. And yeah, you do wheelie. You know, we had it on TC2 or 3, I think it was, but you have to manage the wheelies rather than the bike, the R1, managing it for you.
Oh man, you come out that first chicane and go over a hilltop,
Yeah.
and if you go full gas up there, wow, like
Yeah.
the thing, you feel like, oh my, I'm gonna loop this thing, you know, because it comes up so aggressively over there. And what it is with the traction, you know, I've tried it before in like traction 5 and I didn't like it because basically it just felt this bunny hop effect going up the hill, like ba-da, ba-da, you know, that kind of thing. So you've got to run it in lower traction settings so that you have that. But then does it cut you off or not? I think basically you can't, in my opinion, I wouldn't be trusting the electronics on the Gixxer. I'll ride it as I know how to ride a motorbike, but I'm not sure I'd be putting huge amounts of faith into that. But it's an aggressive power, and it's massively impressive.
What you said earlier about jumping on it and being quick straight away, that is just where the GSXR shines. By the second session, you know, I was right at home. You know, you just jump on it, you know what it's doing, you got loads of feel, the power delivery is smooth but savage, you know.
I think possibly one thing we haven't really talked about too much is the fact that yes, the Gixxer is fantastic, and you know, you can rail into corners like really fast and get around them really well, but that is, you know, it's the chassis, which is really good, but it's also the chassis components, which are aftermarket. So please watch this video and don't think we're talking about a stock GSXR. I think the stock bike, our experience, and I've seen Jeff literally 20 metres up the road from me at Snetterton Back Straight, go into the most uncontrollable tank slapper. I've never seen anything like it in my life. The bike was flipping 20 foot up in the air, and I've seen my dad flying down the tarmac. You know, the stock bike, as soon as you start to ride it hard, becomes unstable, and we've had quite a few moments on it where, you know, the steering just jitters, and there's something with the geometry, there's something with the engine power, possibly the electronics and the way that cuts the wheelie. You know, maybe that plays into it as well, but there's something not right about the stock setup. And if we were talking about the stock bike, I think it's dangerous. I think it's, you know, that was a near-death experience. If the bike would have landed on him, that'd have been game over, and he's just very lucky that he's here to tell the tale. As a stock bike, if you were to come and compare the R1 on its stock suspension versus the GSXR on its stock suspension and steering damper, 100% hands down, the R1 is a much better bike. And if we were doing the sort of speeds that we were doing today on the stock GSXR, I'm sure we'd be in A&E somewhere. You know, I'm serious. This track has got a lot of lumps and bumps, corners with lumps and bumps, wheels in the air, all that sort of stuff. And it's frankly unstable. You need a suspension handling package like what this has got. Obviously full nitron, front, rear, and bi-turbo damper. That for me has sorted the handling issues out, and now it's really stable. I've got confidence to come out of Druids and give it some. You know, over that lip there, and you know, I think it's a really good handling bike, and I think that we've brought out in the upgrades that we've done what the GSXR could and should be.
No, I fully agree. Going on what you said about the upgrades, I think the braking system with the master cylinder lines, that, you know, there's not been any issues. There's been plenty of power, no fade. No, it's
so funny that
really good.
We were complaining a bit more about ABS like on the road and stuff, but that's, I think, because we're being deliberate, trying to do stoppies and different stuff like that. You know, whereas obviously that's how you're going to get the ABS. I'll tell you what, you know, I haven't had no issues on either the Gixxer or the R1 in terms of ABS. That's amazing, isn't it?
It's been awesome. Go on then. So if you were new to track bikes and you had a choice, which one would you ride home?
Well, I think if I was new to track riding, I wouldn't choose either of these things. No,
that's true. That's actually a point that we were going to talk about.
Yeah, well, it was because I don't think they're great bikes to begin learn the game on. You know, I've learned my game on the 750, and you know, you get to learn what it's like to go absolutely to the throttle stop and ride the bike like that, and get on the gas early and brake in and carry a bit of corner speed and stuff like that. And then you jump up to 1,000 and then yes, you're taking those skills, but I think you're getting on a bike that's ultimately more capable.
Sure.
And you almost have to sort of bring your riding back up to that. There's no way that, you know, jumping on that, like, there's a lot more potential basically than what's on my 750. I know it, because I was riding that really hard.
Well, you said you're cruising, you know, you were going quick, but it was an easier quick. Rather than
much easier
harder,
quick.
So,
it's a safe quick.
Nice.
So I wouldn't recommend any of the thousands for a beginner track bike, because I don't think that you'll learn ultimately how to ride them properly. I think people are much better off on a slower bike, you know, perhaps get an RS 660 or an R7 even, or an R6 or a Gixxer 750 is probably the best one actually. Learn the trade on that and then move up to one of these things, because they are impressive. They are absolutely unbelievable, aren't they? These bikes, and really they're a showcase of how good superbikes are. So I suppose we should come to a conclusion really, shouldn't we? I think as a stock bike, and I've already said this, you know, stock suspension, stock everything, blah, 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 the R1 is the best bike.
Nice. Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah.
As modified bikes, I think they're very close, but they've got different distinctives. Thank you ever so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed watching this one. Hope it's been helpful. Please check out the Knox gear that we've used to protect ourselves on test, on both the track and on the road as well. And let us know what you think in the comment section. Which one would you choose?
Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts.
100%. Okay, so we'll see you next time. Producing this two-part Superbike series was one of the best that we've ever done from an enjoyment point of view, with the most engaging road riding to adrenaline pumping track day riding. This two-part series was genuinely filmed in 3 consecutive days with travel time included, and we left Oulton Park absolutely exhausted. But with the content shot, both bike and riders intact, smiles on faces and memories made, the ultimate conclusion is that the concept of a superbike is 100% not dead and buried. In fact, it's very much alive.
Out of Druids, down to Lodge, Gardner's home. He's only got now the last corner, and he's going to win the first leg of the British Championship race. No, he's not. Gardner goes through. Marshall goes through. Incredible.
Wayne and I were together on the very last lap, and I thought I'd try and take Wayne where I did run on the last lap, but unfortunately I couldn't get by, and so it looked like it was going to be second place, but Wayne overshot the corner, so he handed me the race. First one, cast off my back in racing position. So all of our first armour was cast off my body. The go was every year at Brands Hatch, they had the end of the year, the last big race of the year. What world-class riders.
And you were...
I was there with them.
Yeah, now you're here, Leighton Buzzard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Jeff Travell there.
This was Snetterton, yeah. Snetterton, 79. In those days, there used to be like the Marlborough Clubman's Championship race. Yeah, that's when I was on 250s.
Wow.
There, standing man there.
Steve Parrish, Roger Marshall, Jeff Sale.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Jeff Travell.
These are our superbikes. Which one do you like? What's your choice?
That one.
This one?
Yeah.
Is it?
Why?
Well, why do you like that one, Josh?
I like the colour better.
And this one's Grandad's. Come have a look.
Thank you.